Hello, how's everybody doing? I'm trying the camera on my laptop today to see if it's a little better than what I have been using in the past, which was my Kodak camcorder. Today I want to talk about, as I mentioned, several parts on corporate America. It's nothing to blast or disrespect corporate America. Corporate America is necessary, just like the service portion of the nation, federal work, municipal work, local government. It's an important part of who we are and what makes our economy what it is. The problem that I want to address is the ignorance a lot of us, mainly myself, when I first got out the Marines, faced. I was a highly ignorant person. I didn't feel I was properly trained or exposed to what I should have known that could have helped me out. So, because I had these issues, and it took me a long time to struggle or figure out right from wrong, I would hate to see anybody else experience those issues as well. So on the trialofgideon.com website, I have written out types of links and hints to help out the reader. However, sometimes people don't feel like reading, or they don't know what exactly they're picking up on. So if I have a video, it could be a little more helpful, and hopefully it is. So I like to stress on 5 key points about what I picked up when I went out into the civilian world and could have been very helpful. One is a service member receives various types of medical insurance after discharge. If you're like me, you might have suffered some sort of injury overseas. You might have a rating. And if you don't have a rating, or if you weren't hurt overseas, but you have a job exposure, hazardous duty type jobs, it could be anything. I was stationed in Germany for a while when I was in the Army, and always in the Stars and Stripes, there was somebody getting hurt, whether it was an aerial accident with helos, or someone that got crushed in between two pallets, not killed, just crushed, so they have a bad back. I have heard of a Air Force veteran that got 100% disability because she had all the meat taken off her index finger. It might be MOS related. She could have been some sort of admin that affected her typing. Me as anti-tank, I was involved with the SMAL. And the SMAL is a 100 decibel shoulder fired weapon. Shoulder launch. I apologize. That was a big mistake for any small gunner there. You fire a missile, you launch a rocket, and the SMAL's a rocket. So at 120 decibels, that's why we're limited to only fire 5 per day. So hearing loss is big with anti-tank. So what I want to go ahead and share is to know that you have various types of medical insurance after discharge. If you are unsure about what your medical insurance covers, you need to go into the VA and get a rating. I recommend at the very least going to a veteran center before going to the VA to at least get a recommendation and a pre-evaluation. I didn't know these things. It took many years later when my biological brother, who's a captain in the Army, informed me of these rights that I have as a veteran. So that's how I entered corporate America looking for work, because I needed medical insurance. The blog will explain a little bit more about that without boring you with the details. 2, take advantage of the GI Bill, but know its limitations. Limitations meaning how long you have before you can use it. You don't want to go 10 years or so outside the military and decide, hey, you want to go back to school, and you can't do it, and you no longer have GI Bill coverage. Same thing with post 9/11 GI Bill. I personally couldn't get post 9/11 GI Bill because I exhausted my federal benefits of the Montgomery GI Bill. You could take, I believe, 42 or 48 months worth of benefits, and I exhausted that. Therefore, the VA told me I was ineligible for post 9/11, although I served many years after 2001. So, know the limitations. Two, do not rely on headhunters alone to find a job. There are several headhunters out there, many that specialize in certain job markets. You have very popular Orion International. They've been somewhat active with me, sending emails. Maybe if I'm lucky, get a phone call once, every leap year. But they were never successful in finding a job for me. Not saying that they're bad, it just never worked out for me. You have some like Robert Half, who I'm more familiar with because of my accounting background. They do a lot with finance and accounting, account temps, and other jobs like that to assist the person. So let's say you're in 01 and that's what you did in the military or in the Marine Corps, and you help Marines out with taxes. Robert Half would be the type of agency you would go to in order to find a job as a tax preparer or an accountant or someplace like that, but did not rely on the headhunters alone. You need to go out there door to door, shaking hands, kissing babies. Remember the whole hearts and minds that we had to do overseas. Very important. Smile, be polite, stick out the hand, firm grip, shake, shake. There you go. Never forget that. 3 or 4, I should say, be professional and polite. Send a thank you card after every interview. That has been a very useful tool that I have used after each interview. Sometimes even go as far as I'm having a one-on-one, giving like a Starbucks gift card, $5, cup of coffee. It won't break your bank, but also shows the interviewer or the recruiter or your point of contact that you also are considerate of their time. So thank you cards are highly important. I endorse those. If you had a phone interview and you're in line for a sit-down interview or a panel interview, I recommend a thank you email. Sometimes, if you're lucky, remember, recruiters, HR representatives are very, very busy individuals. So sending a phone call to them or making a phone call to them may not be as helpful. Even if you leave a voicemail on their line. As a prior corporate manager, voicemails don't get answered. A lot of times people do not have time to check the voicemails, but they will check the emails. So send an email, thank you card, thank you note, maybe a little Shotsky, like if you have business cards made up, just a little something to stay on their mind. And finally, follow your gut. Don't follow the money. A mistake I made. I was in school to be a commercial diver. I was doing small commercial diver jobs. It made me happy. I worked outdoors. I had adventure. Commercial diving works by contracts. In between contracts, I was going to travel, have fun. I had everything all mapped out for myself. But I followed the money. I had never heard of the type of salary that they were offering me at my last job. At least in my lifetime. It was almost double what I thought I could have made back in the Midwest. So I took it. And the money grew. And each year, even though I got a little bonus or a little pay increase, it was the most money that I personally have ever made. Sitting now with an MBA and the amount of pay I was receiving, it doesn't equal out anymore. However, at the time, for not having a college education, only being a jarhead, it was the most money I had seen. But it was against my better intuition. And all these years later, now I know why I should follow my gut. That's okay. I'm not mad. It is what it is. So please take these pieces of advice. Let me know how you feel about the webcam versus the other videos. I like the lighting a little better on this. I'm not too sure about the playback and the sound. But read the blog, thetrialsofgideon.com. Leave your advice on the bottom. If you like, please subscribe. And let me know what's on your mind and how you feel. As always, thank you for giving me your time, and I appreciate everything. Semper Fi.